Hey guys, it's been a while. Sorry about that. Andrew's been pretty busy with getting his tournament season ready, getting his boat wrapped and his truck wrapped and all the sponsorship stuff. Right now we're headed to get his boat. It just got done being wrapped, so that's pretty exciting. Get to walk you through all that. I haven't been busy. It's just been too cold, so I've been a girl, I guess, and staying inside.
He's a girl.
Little girl. When we get there, after we get the boat, we're gonna kind of walk you through. Andrew's gonna walk you through on kind of what's on his boat and why he put it on his boat, and so I'll show you that part of it. So see you in a sec. All right, we're here. It's a place called Outlaw Customs is where this wrap place is. So we're heading in.
So, it's super windy in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
When it's not cold, it's windy.
True.
As I told my son, if you don't wear a hat, your hair blows away. So.
Go ahead.
Hey. Hello. How's it going? Good. We're ready for you.
How are you? This is Brandon.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Doing a little bit of filming, so.
Fine. So
Yeah, no
2
doubt.
days is still very possible.
Okay.
As long as everything goes smooth.
Yeah.
So,
All right, we're going around the back to hook up the boat.
You filming me right now?
Yeah.
Why are you filming me? That's so creepy. How about you get in the back?
Back. No. Let's do this.
Super excited to see it. It's always like when you get a boat wrapped, that first initial wrap is a lot of fun because it's almost like getting a brand new boat. And my big deal with a wrap is I always have to go get like a good cut in it or something like that, because otherwise I'm gonna be really like babying it because I don't want to mess it up. Same way with a boat, I usually just go ahead and go hit a dock or something. That's a joke. I don't actually go hit docks on purpose. But yeah, they're usually pretty awesome as soon as you first pick them up. So let's do it.
rain's a really nice mix. Yeah, Andrew, the silicone went around the bottom edge of the.
Yeah, but it should really nice and tight.
So it's still not completely dry.
Oh, that's fine.
So don't hate when it's fall off or anything.
I can't go get what?
No. It's probably cleaner now than it ever will be though.
That's what I actually just said on camera.
Jumbo tires on there.
Yeah.
Big ass rims.
You're the Batman of the water, bro, in this thing.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that Matt deal. It's got like a glove type thing on it. Super sleek. Kind of blew my mind. I thought, man, that's just totally different.
Yeah.
None of the other wraps are like that.
Alrighty.
Well. I'm gonna give you a little walkthrough of my Bass Cat era for this year. I get a lot of questions in regard to why I run certain equipment and how it benefits me on the water. You know, first off, this year I decided to run a Minn Kota Ultrex. I was kind of hesitant before running it because I really didn't understand the technology, and quite frankly, I was one of those guys that I'm pretty rough on my trolling motor, and I didn't know if it could really withstand what I put a trolling motor through. This year I went with the Ultrex. They definitely changed the game with their trolling motor. Not a sponsor of mine, I just really like it. I mean, it's just a really good trolling motor, especially for anchoring in spots. So I know you've heard of spot lock by now. If you're a big time bass fisherman, walleye fisherman, anything, the spot lock on the Ultrex is really phenomenal. It just sits there in a place within a couple of feet. You can hit the spot lock button on the trolling motor and it's there. It just stays there. And it's almost like a power pole on steroids, kind of, you know, so, but in any depth of water. Now, honestly, when you're up in really shallow water, you probably want to use your power poles just because you don't want that extra noise, and the power poles are going to hold you there quiet. But if you're out there in deep water, that Ultrex is definitely where it's at. I also get a lot of questions about why I run 2 units on the front of my boat. You see a lot of pros out there running 4 units on their boat, and in some cases I would say it's overkill because I've always run 3 units. I always run 2 on the back, 1 on the front. The last 2 years though, I've run 2 units on the front, and to explain why, do you need 2 units? Can you do it without 2 units? Absolutely. You don't have to have 2 units on the front. In this case though, it makes a lot of sense. So I've been running Panoptix for the last couple of years, and Panoptix is a forward-facing sonar that shoots out in front of you and it does a live view below you. And so what I like to do is have 1 unit particularly for my Panoptix. I like to be able to see a big screen of what's out in front of me and what's below me. On the other unit, I always run my mapping, you know, my side scan, my, you know, down scan, or my regular traditional sonar. I actually use traditional sonar probably more than anything. I'm still a big fan, old school kind of guy when it comes to traditional sonar. I think it definitely has its perks, and if you're used to that, that's a really good type of sonar to use. But I'm using Garmin's. There's a lot of great units out there. I'm running 7610s. I like that 10-inch unit. And if you can tell, right here I have 1 unit that's really high and 1 unit that's right there on the deck. Now I'm using a Kong mount, and the Kong mount's a really heavy duty stainless steel mount, and I use that one because I can keep it mounted up there when I'm in really rough water, and I don't have to worry about it shifting or moving or anything. And the other benefit to that is I can do it straight up, and it puts it right here in my face, so I'm not having to squint. I don't have, my left eye's really bad, like I can't see very well in it. My right eye's great, so I'm not having to squint or look or be confused about what I'm seeing. It's right there in front of me. Makes it really, really easy. And but that's why I run 2 units on the front. I also get a lot of questions on why I run a Bass Cat era. Bass Cat released the Lynx this year, and it's a great boat. I've actually run it a couple of times with a 300 on it, and it was super fast. But just like anything else, we all have that equipment that fits us. The era fits me. It's a quick boat. It reminds me of driving a jet ski almost, because it's really easy in turns. It's quick. It's powerful. And it gets on plane really fast, and makes really good clean cuts, and that's what I like in a boat. I like to be able to react. So when you're driving on the water and you got a bunch of stumps around or buoys, or you're driving in waves, whatever it may be, you want a boat that you can react to certain things, and you're not going to lose control of the boat. And the era allows me to do that. Lets me make really quick decisions on the water, and it just fits my style of fishing. It's a really shallow drafting boat, and it stays really nose down in waves, and I like that because I like to fish offshore. Back here, you obviously see 2 8-foot power poles. This is a common thing in most bass boats these days. I'd say it's as common as a trolling motor these days in professional bass fishing. Don't really take a lot of explaining on why we have power poles. In anywhere less than 8 foot of water, I prefer a power pole because it's going to hold me in place. Talons are good too. Any type of shallow water anchor is really going to hold you in place, and it's going to be quiet, and that's effective when you're fishing in shallow water. Another thing is hydraulic jack plates. Hydraulic jack plates have been around for a long time, and at first I was real skeptical if I really needed one, didn't need one, and it's actually one of the last things that I ever put on my boat beyond like a power pole or an Ultrex, something like that. And honestly, the reason is I didn't really think it benefited me. You know, like the average angler, the weekend angler, fishing the same lake every weekend, I didn't think that there was a benefit. However, was I wrong? I'm always wrong. Just ask my wife. Hydraulic jack plates have their place. So if you're a guy that likes speed, you need a hydraulic jack plate. If you're a guy that likes to get up in really, really shallow water, hydraulic jack plate is for you too. So there's a lot of situations where hydraulic jack plate's going to be effective. You know, getting over that log that's laid across the back end of a creek channel and raising your motor up and getting over it. If you didn't have that, you could trim your motor up, but you still might not get over that log. You know, certain situations like that, I can gain like 3 to 4 miles an hour faster in my boat by using my hydraulic jack plate. I use an Atlas. There's a lot of them out there. I just prefer an Atlas, and I think if you look at the FLW Tour, the Elite Series, all of those guys, I'd say 95% of the guys are running an Atlas, and there's a reason they're running an Atlas. So, I mean, it's not because they're all getting them for free. A lot of those guys are paying for them. So just know that up front. Well, a lot of us are paying for these jack plates because they're the best out there. The last thing that I get asked a lot about is why am I running 2 units on the back of the boat? And also, why do we have them mounted side by side like that? Everybody tells me, they're like, man, that just like kind of seems excessive. I couldn't agree more. Like, it seems super excessive. And I think in some cases, you know, if you don't really know how to use units or don't have a lot of experience with it, it's absolutely excessive. However, I think a lot of it has to do with a couple different reasons. We keep these dual mounted for 2 reasons. First off, we don't usually have to take them off because they make locks for these, and you can lock them down to your boat. So when we get done with a day of practice, which usually runs from anywhere between 12 and 15 hours, we're exhausted. Last thing we want to do is go over here and take units off of our boats. And so this allows us to lock them down and keep them on there. We don't have to worry about getting them stolen or anything like that. Any worse than someone breaking into the back end of your car and stealing them out of there. Secondly, the cool thing about having them mounted side by side like this is when you pull up your side scan or your side view technology on your units, a lot of times you can do left and right side on your side scan. So when you're looking at it, you can see the left side of your side scan, so you can see a full view of that, and you can see a full view of your right, so you can compare them to each other if that's what you want to do, or you just have them easy access here. I've seen guys mount them on ram mounts or Kongs on the side of their units. That's great. I mean, it doesn't matter how you mount them. I just prefer this kind of mount, that dual type mount. I think it makes a lot more easy access. Here I'm running 7612s. There's both 12-inch units. They're really big. I don't have to squint. Once again, if the one question I get more than anything is, man, I'm thinking about buying a unit. I can't decide if I want to buy a 7, a 9, or a 10, or a 12, whatever length or size that you're looking at. I've always said buy the one that you can afford that has the biggest screen. And the reason is I remember when side imaging first came out, I bought a Humminbird. And I bought a 5-inch screen on that Humminbird. And it was great. I could find brush piles. I could do all kinds of things with it. But the one thing that I couldn't see was fish. And the reason I couldn't see the fish was because the screen was so small. Like, if you're sitting here looking at a screen that's this big and you're trying to pick out a dot that's the size of the end of a pin, I mean, you're not going to see the fish. So the bigger the screen, you got to imagine, the bigger the screen you get, the larger the fish are going to be on that image. So you're going to be able to find fish a lot easier the bigger the screen that you have. And, you know, it's just going to have more success on the water. So with that being said, a 7, if you can afford a 7-inch unit, a Garmin 7, or an 8, or a 9, or a 10, or a 12, whatever it may be, always try to get a little bit bigger screen, and that's going to help you see those fish a little bit easier next time you're on the water. So just to break it down, I broke down a lot of things that I get asked all the time when I'm out on the water or just driving into a gas station. And hopefully these answered a couple of your questions on how and why I set up my boat the way that I do. You know, we always like questions at PWF. We want to answer any questions that you have, so make sure you drop them in the comments below. And make sure you subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and get your friends to subscribe. We're really all about teaching what we know about fishing and enjoying the outdoors. We all love to fish, love to hunt. Obviously, a big hit on our channel has been Brandon's epic misses on his hunting show, his pheasant hunting show, and that was a great show. I wish I could have been there next time. He and I are gonna go out hunting. I don't know what we're gonna hunt for, but I promise you, he's probably gonna miss a lot. I'm gonna hit a lot. And thanks again for watching our shows. You know, we really have a blast doing this. I know y'all haven't seen me in a while. I've been super busy. Hopefully you'll see me a lot in the future, especially follow me around on the tour of this year. I'm gonna have a lot of fishing tips, videos. Like I said, post those comments below, and we'll see you next time on PWF.